You're listening to the Food Truck Empire podcast, where we talk about great food, big trucks, and how to launch a profitable food truck business. Here's your host.
Oh yeah, Food Truck Empire, episode number 20. This is your host, Brett. This week I'm chatting with Justin Turner, founder of Bernie's Burger Bus out of Houston, Texas. Now, Turner's story demonstrates the opportunity that exists for scalability in the mobile food business. Right now, Turner has 3 food buses operating in Houston. He's just opened a new location in Reliant Stadium where the Texans play, and also has plans to open up a restaurant later this year. It's pretty crazy what he's got going on. Turner also has a really cool story about being a personal chef for many years for a professional basketball player. And, this story is just an important reminder about why it pays off to think big when launching your food truck business. But before we get into the main course this week, if you're a regular listener to the show, you know that each month I've made the commitment to help fund a food truck that has a crowdfunding campaign going on and needs capital. This month, I'm thrilled to announce that the featured truck, someone you may have heard of previously, Ticka Ticka Taco out of St. Louis, Missouri. Congratulations and applause effect, please. Now, Ticka Ticka Taco was the runner-up of this season's The Great Food Truck Race, and I'm happy to announce that we'll be having these guys on the show next Friday to share their experience on the reality show, the story of how they got on the Great Food Truck Race, and of course to talk a little bit about their Indiegogo campaign that's going to be ending this November. I've added a link to their Indiegogo campaign in the episode 20 show notes. I encourage you to, go there, check it out, and share the link on Facebook and Twitter. These are some super hardworking guys that I know are destined for success in the food truck industry and definitely deserving of your support. So at the very least, check it out and share the link around. Now, something else I've got currently in the works. I've been working with Anthony Salvago from Switch It Up Food Truck out of Albuquerque, New Mexico on creating sort of an A to Z guide / case study for starting a food truck from scratch. Now, this content's going to be a little bit different than the podcast that I'm typically putting out on this site. We're basically going to be chronicling the process that Anthony has taken to start his own food truck, and this food truck is going to be opening in just a couple of months now, which is crazy. We're going to be sharing some different articles. We're going to be sharing his business plan, and we're basically just flipping on the mic and talking about the different steps that he's had to take to launch his food truck. Hopefully you guys are going to find that valuable, and eventually we hope to have the entire process plotted out and organized for you. Just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about: how he came up with menu items, how to source products for your food truck. We're going to be getting really, really in-depth into some of the more technical details of launching your own food truck, and hopefully you guys find that valuable and interesting. Check out more details on that too at foodtruckempire.com. But for now, let's dive into today's main course after a brief word from our sponsor. Seeking capital to start or grow your food business? Foodstart.com is here to help. Foodstart.com is the only crowdfunding platform that gives you a $500 bonus after you raise $5,000 from 20 contributors to your campaign. And here's the cool part: Foodstart will double your bonus to $1,000 just because you listen to the Food Truck Empire podcast. Click the subscribe page at foodtruckempire.com or visit foodstart.com for details. If you're seeking capital online, this is the best place I know to do it. Hi, Bernie. Thanks for being on the show with me today. Now, before we get started with the main interview questions, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you first got involved with Bernie's Burger Bus?
My name is Justin Turner. Started Bernie's Burger Bus almost 3 years ago to the day. Previously, before I took on this endeavor, I was a personal chef for Shane Battier. I was his chef in Memphis, Tennessee for 3 years, and then he got traded to the Houston Rockets, where I moved with him, was his chef here for 4 years, and then in the summer of 2010, I started taking on a side project, which at the time I thought was just going to be a side project, Bernie's Burger Bus. Ended up taking off really fast, and so I ended up taking Bernie's Burger Bus full-time and letting go of my gig with Shane, which was perfect timing because he got traded back to Memphis and then to Miami. So, been a chef professionally for 14 years, but have been cooking for 17 years.
Wow, so you were like a chef for professional athletes before you got into the food truck business. I've never met anyone that's done that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, most people would say I am not the smartest guy. I had an easy job, making good money, working 20 hours a week in air conditioning, and
yeah,
let's go ahead and start a food truck.
Just out of curiosity, who's the coolest person in your opinion that you've ever cooked food for?
I mean, Shane was an amazing guy. Besides his long list of talents, he was a great mentor to me business-wise, and he's got a lot of businesses. I've cooked for a lot of his friends who are huge superstars, Yao Ming, Dirk Nowitzki, the list goes on. He's got a ton of friends in the NBA, but to me, the coolest guy I've ever cooked for is Bill and will always be Shane.
Wow, that's really cool. All right. Well, since moving from professional athletes to starting Bernie's Burger Bus, I guess let's dive a little bit into that first. What kind of got you thinking about food trucks specifically?
I took a trip to Portland. My stepbrother lives there. He's been living there for about 10 years, and he took me through their trailer park scene that they have there, which is now even bigger. But when I went there in 2009, was just amazing to see. And I came back to Houston at the beginning of 2010 and just saw that there's just nothing like that here. Austin has it. Portland has it. Some other cities were starting to become popular, but there was like one food truck at the time that was, not the typical taco truck. And I just felt like there was a definite niche that needed to be filled. And I felt like if I can get ahead of the curve, it would benefit me greatly. And I decided to just take my savings that I've been saving up for years and try it out on myself.
Very cool. Well, one of the things that I know about you is that you've got a really unique brand with Bernie's Burger Bus. It's not just, your typical food truck. It's this rolling school bus, basically, and you've got a whole school theme to your menu items as well. What was the inspiration behind that theme for your business?
Well, I feel like besides, the 80%, to me, I break down a restaurant. Every restaurant I've ever done, previous to Bernie's, before I was with Shane, every restaurant it was 80% food, 10% customer service, and 10% concept. And I felt like with a food truck especially, we only have those three things to offer. We have the food, we've got to have great customer service, and people got to be reeled in. It's got to be a better than just a food experience. They've got to be able to take away something from it. And I felt like with the name in general, I knew I wanted to name something after my grandfather. He is Bernie. And one of the things that I do with my chef buddies was especially during football season, we all get together at someone's house and we cook for each other. And one of the things that I always used to do was burgers. And I would take the time and make my pickles and mustard and ketchup and mayonnaise and grind my meat. And at that point, when I was doing it just for my friends, I was even baking the bread,
wow.
Which is the only thing that we don't do now. So I felt like, all right, well, I'm going to do burgers because it's easy to translate. People will grasp it, and it's not going to be a hard sell. I'm selling gourmet burgers and fries, and I'm not doing something unique, which, a lot of the trucks do, and they are very successful. But I felt like to reach the masses, I needed to do something that was a little bit more tangible for customers and people to grasp. So then that's brought in the Bernie's Burgers, and then I'm thinking Bernie's Burger Truck doesn't sound that cool. Let me do Bernie's Burger Bus. And the first builder that I went to said, "There's no way. Can't build a food truck in a school bus." And I showed him a couple of pictures of some trucks that I saw that had done it, and he said, No, I can't do it. It's not enough room." So I went out that afternoon. I bought a school bus, went back to my house, tore out all the seats. I showed up the next day at his establishment. I said, "Let's build this food truck." And from then on, the concept of doing it in the bus was built. And so when I started thinking about menu, and I didn't want to change the yellow and black. I still wanted it to be recognized as a school bus. And so I felt it was only natural to give my burgers and fries specific school names. And then it all kind of ties together, and I can't tell you how seamless it was once I decided to go that route. I mean, our principle is our principal burger. It's the basic burger. Our substitute at the beginning was the second choice, so you can substitute for this one or this one. And now we've got a list of 8 permanent burgers. We've got a rotation of about 20 different burgers that we bring in through different names, and fries have been kind of the same thing. We've kept with the same theme, and so it's turned out to be a really eye-catching and unique experience for our customers. And I felt like, it hit my last 10%. I had the food part, I had the customer service part. I felt like now the concept was all in one and easy to grasp. And now people walk around the streets and they talk about, "Oh, I like the cheerleader," "Oh, I like the preschoolers," and it's like it's funny because you don't know what they're referencing, but it's been really cool. It's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, I love that because those burger names are just so easy to remember too. Once you look at them one time, you would
be surprised how many people just refuse to say it.
Oh, really?
I want that burger that has the blue cheese, the chips, the onions, the bacon, and the burgundy mushrooms. "Oh, you mean the substitute?" No. I just want a burger. Okay, we get it. You don't want to say it. That's fine. So there are those people who just really want to call it what it is and not try and candy coat it at all. And that's fine by us. We
absolutely. Customer's always right. Why not?
I definitely disagree with that, but yes. They're definitely not always right.
Yeah. So, Justin, currently you've got, basically, from what I understand now, a small fleet of about 3 school buses that can be found throughout the Houston area now. At what point did you start expanding? Because I know you said 3 years back you started out with just one bus. Mm-hmm. At what point did it make sense for you to start expanding into multiple buses? And when exactly did you know that was the quote-unquote right time for you?
About a week.
Wow.
As soon as I started, because of my concept, I cannot do everything that I need to do on my truck. And so I've got to rent a kitchen where, I pay rent and utilities. So immediately right away, I have more expenses than the typical food truck who will get their supplies and do all their work on their truck. There's no way I can make ketchup and make pickles and make mustard and make mayonnaise and grind meat. And there's just no way to do all that on a truck. So after about a week of doing it, I realized, okay, I can't do enough volume on one truck to justify paying for a kitchen. So the magic number for us was 2, and it took me about a year to work in the capital to get to that second bus. But as soon as we signed and picked up that second bus, we got a call from the University of Houston asking us to jump on campus and be there for the next year and a half. And so immediately we turned around and had a discussion. I've got a financial partner now, and I've also got another partner that I brought aboard for the operations side of things. We talked in great length on why we are getting the second truck, and felt like by taking that second